We're talking to Martin Ewart, who is General Manager of Logica Scotland, about the issues facing real organisations and real leaders. Martin, it's really good to see you. I know you've had some experience of working with Human Insight in a previous job. Could you just give us some insight into what that's like?
Well, Ian, I would have to say the experience with Human Insight turned out to actually be a lot more different than I thought it would be like, in a very positive way. But let me give you the example. I was newly appointed head of a large function, so 2,000-ish people, 8 geographies. The function was viewed as relatively stagnant. It had come from quite a directive and controlling culture. And my brief was to take it into a new place, to drive the colleague engagement up, drive the service up, drive a lot of financial synergies around the business. So I had a new team and a whole new business. When I first called Human Insight, my view of what I needed was I just wanted Human Insight to come in and help me do some team building, and perhaps help me engage the colleague base a little bit more. Of course, when we sat down with Human Insight and explored the real context and the real goals of the organisation, what emerged was quite a different set of challenges that I myself had to acknowledge. So, for example, whilst we had a strategy, the actual critical targets for the business weren't clear, and we as a business needed to face into that. So what Human Insight actually forced me and my team to consider was, first of all, are we really up for the journey that will take us to the success we aspire to? And that's actually quite a hard conversation. It was forcing me as a leader to get out of my comfort zone and really face into, did I have to change my actions? Did I have to engage with my team in a way different than I was doing? It was asking me and my team to contract together, were we really up for uncovering those things that were unsettling us and working collectively to address them? And ultimately, were we going to take the risk to share some of that uncertainty with the whole of the colleague base and be brave enough to take the feedback and engagement that they would want to input to us on this mighty journey we were on? So I guess if I was to summarise, what I wanted to buy at the start was just some support for me and my team. It was probably going to be quite supportive and quite cuddly. What I actually got was much deeper challenge. Even during the contracting phase, were we really up for the journey that was required to secure the success that we aspired to? And then during that journey, were we up for using new tools, new insights, new ways of working, and really deep, healthy challenge, both from Human Insights and from us as leaders with our colleagues in this business? So what actually happened is we engaged with Human Insight in a set of stages. In stage 1, it was about myself and my leadership team being really clear around our ambitions and our mission-driven priorities. We then, when we were comfortable to move to next stage, we moved on to stage 2, which was really looking at the maturity of how myself and my team worked together and get us facing into the real issues that were on our agenda. Finally, the third stage was around myself and my team engaging with a new maturity with our colleague base. And as a result, it brought much stronger collaboration across the whole business, and trust grew as a result.
Martin, on a personal level, did it enable you to grow as a leader?
Ian, I think I grow every day as a leader. On this specific example, I'm not sure as a leader I would have been brave enough to actually buy the change that we ended up buying. It was a much deeper change than I could ever have considered. And it would have been very daunting for myself and my team to embark on that without building the confidence as we went along. What Human Insight did is clearly they recognised that. And I think probably our colleagues and partners in Human Insight would admit that they didn't tell us all that we were facing as we embarked, but we did it in stages. And as our confidence grew, we recontracted for the next phase. And that allowed us to get a much deeper change through the entire journey.
Martin, can you tell me a little bit about the power of Human Insight's tools as they've been used in businesses you've led?
The one Human Insight tool that springs to mind on that question, Ian, is the AEM-cube. Now, the AEM-cube, which we had used a number of times before, has a lot of power, but it deals with individuals. And sometimes you need to foster debates that are much broader than how individuals see other individuals. The AEM-cube allowed us to do this. You can imagine a typical business. The sales function feel the operations function are a drag in moving the business forward. The operations function think the sales function are cowboys and they sell what they want to sell rather than what they should be selling. Now, whilst that hypothesis was obvious to us, what the AEM-cube allowed is, first of all, it demonstrated that. It demonstrated the sales function saw the operations function quite different from how they saw themselves, and vice versa. And it allowed, in quite a non-confrontational way, the two functions to explore why that might be the case, and actually resulted in joint working parties being put in place to resolve some of these differences and much deeper collaboration happening between the two functions as the business went forward. Now, the AEM-cube I think the AEM-cube allows you to get under the covers of some of those very sensitive topics in a way that people find easier than simply if a tool is looking at them as individuals. It's less personal, and people are much more open to talk about things that are around teams than they are about themselves as individuals. It's a very powerful tool, and I think as a way in an organisation to find out about themselves, I wouldn't hesitate to use it again.